Well, you've certainly grown up, Jennifer said. I was half expecting that little boy who used to wear the occasional dress. You look beautiful. I hope your portfolio is just as impressive. Thank you, he blushed. I hope so too, he gulped. Well, Jennifer smiled. Take a seat and we'll see what you've got, she suggested, glancing at his leather-bound A3 portfolio. They sat and Peter shyly went through his portfolio, explaining the ideas behind each piece of work. Well, this is very impressive considering you haven't studied a good wide range of styles too, Jennifer said, much to both Peter's and his mother's pleasure. I'd like to show this to my manager if that's okay. Yes. Peter gulped. That would be wonderful, his mother gushed. Jennifer went to the reception desk and picked up the phone. After a brief conversation, she hung up and returned. Would you mind waiting here? Jennifer asked. No, not at all, of course, they both replied. Jennifer zipped up his portfolio and stood up. We'll only be about 20 minutes, she smiled. This way, Peter. Oh, Peter stammered, glancing at his mother, who was beckoning him to go with her. Don't forget your purse, Peter, his mother said as she handed it to him. As they walked towards the elevator, Heather said to herself, I never should have stopped petticoating him. She gave him an encouraging wave as the lift door opened. They stepped inside and disappeared. Inside the elevator, Jennifer looked Peter up and down. She complimented his shoes, his purse, and his hair. He gulped and said thank you. Don't look so scared, Peter. I'm sure Mrs. Perrin will be just as impressed. Thanks, he replied, glancing at his reflection in the mirrored interior. Mum didn't tell me you worked here, he said. Jennifer and his mother have been friends for as long as he could remember. She used to regularly pop around unannounced and as such, saw him in one of his many dresses on a variety of occasions when he was younger. You were always too pretty for a boy, Jennifer said just before the elevator stopped. She checked the floor as the doors slid open. Two women entered the lift, nodding and smiling at Peter and Jennifer in turn. The doors closed and the lift continued upwards. Peter remained silent, waiting nervously for the inevitable, is that a boy, revelation from one or both of them. No such comments came and eventually they reached floor 17. This is us, Jennifer said, before leading Peter down a long corridor and into a large busy office. Again he anticipated being discovered as heads turned and glanced as they passed the many desks. Eventually they stopped at a large frosted glass door. Jennifer knocked and entered. This is Peter Jackson, Jennifer said to the middle-aged lady. Good afternoon, Peter. Mrs. Drummond speaks very highly of you, Mrs. Perrin said as she shook his hand. Let's see what you've got, she said, glancing at the portfolio he held.